It's the Rooster, Bobby Leach, SouthwestSportsNet.com. Let's talk about the Plainfield East. Bengals. Bengals get their season started next Friday night on the road, 7 p.m. at Aurora Matea Valley. They also play on the road in week 2 against Batavia. Two real tough teams. But let me tell you something. Plainfield East is bigger, they're badder, and they're tougher than they've ever been. And this team has been on the bubble for the last couple of years. Coach Romelli has had his kids in the gym. They've bought in. They've hit the weights hard. I've personally seen them in the weight room. These kids are not messing around. I mean, they are not messing around. And to prove my point, Plainfield East hasn't been in the playoffs. They're relatively unknown for teams that haven't seen them yet. But let me just kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse of what they got. How about a kid like Tyler Lancaster, 6'7", 285-pound Northwestern commit. He committed in June, and so offensive line, he's the anchor of their offensive line. He's going to be tough. He's going to be a tough kid to get around. All right, so you're right in the center of your offense. You got some beef, and this kid, he's smart. I mean, he's got to be smart to go to Northwestern, right? So he's smart and he's strong. Those are dangerous combinations. And then you got to talk about guys like Brennan Rampa. You know, Brennan Rampa is a linebacker, and that kid, again, extremely intelligent. He's a recruit of where? Air Force. Another kid that maybe you haven't heard a whole lot about last season because you haven't seen these guys in the playoffs. Maybe they don't get the press that they deserve. Let me tell you something. This kid is another kid going places. Then you got St. Rita recruit. Well, sorry, let me rephrase that. He's not a recruit. He transferred back to Plainfield East after attending St. Rita. Played last year as a junior. This kid is speedy. He's fat. He's quick. And I'm going to tell you, he's got the heart of a lion. I know this personally, that this kid is a ringer. He's a real ringer. And, you know, amazingly, he has been picked up by 1AA Mid-American Conference schools, but I think he can go much higher. And I had not heard whether or not he's committed yet to any one school, but that is Aris Irizarry. And Aris is he's a dynamo. He can pretty much play any skilled position on the field. Whether you're going to throw the ball to him, you're going to give him the ball to run, you're going to put him at safety, at corner, this kid can play. I mean, he can flat out play. So you got 3 really great players surrounded by a lot of really good players that haven't even been heard of yet. And Coach Romelli is really excited about his team this season. Obviously, any coach going into the season, I guess your first goal is to win a conference. Your second goal would be make the playoffs. Your third goal might be win a state championship. I think you're going to find with Coach Romelli and his players, they start with winning a state championship. That's what they're out there practicing for. That's what they're out there lifting weights for. That's what they're playing for. They're not playing to be second best or second fiddle to anybody. And I got to tell you something. I'm really impressed with this program. I think they're going to go places this year. My questions for Plainfield East will be answered in the first couple of weeks. Will their offense pick up where they left off last year? I mean, they lost a lot of depth in their offense. Guys like Miles Walters, who is gone and at West Point playing basketball now. But again, great football player. And to replace that, I don't know that you can replace a kid like Miles Walters. I don't know that you can replace a kid like DeMumbrum. So I think that Plainfield East has got a lot to see yet. I think you're going to see a lot coming up, especially once they get into their in-conference schedule. But you'll be able to tell about where this team is after they get done playing Batavia. And should they win their first 2 games of the season, guaranteed they're going to make the playoffs. Guaranteed. You heard it here first. Guaranteed. They go 2-0 in their conference games, they will make the playoffs, and they're going to make some waves. They're going to turn some heads. We sat down with a few of the players and with Coach Romelli, and here's a little bit about what they had to say. We hope you enjoy the video.
You know, this would be your 3rd season at the varsity level, you know, and pretty much the anchor of their offensive line. You know, what are you trying to do with the new guys that are coming up? I see there's a freshman that came in, you know, that's pretty big, a lot like you were when you came in as a freshman, and he's in the weight room. But what do you got to do to get your guys, you know, ready for the season? You know, obviously they're going to be leaning on you as a leader.
Oh, it's definitely team unity, especially the offensive line, though. Like, we got our own handshakes. We go out to dinner sometimes. We just got to be a family.
You know, last year, disappointing year? Would you say it was a disappointing year? Or?
Yeah, we had high hopes for the year. It was disappointing, but it's an upgrade from the year before.
Motivation for, you know, this year, I'm sure, because, I mean, you guys lost a lot of talent, you know, and skilled talent there. I mean, a guy like Miles Walters doesn't come along every day, you know, and now you got to find replacements of that, you know, and you guys have always been typically a pretty solid running team. And that, again, is going to fall on your shoulders to open up those holes, in speed.
Well, we got good talent in there right now too. Like Brennan, he's running a 4.3, I think, and LaSalle's, he's quick and he's big and strong. We got athletes coming up, so we could have some blowout players too.
And with LaSalle Smith, soon to be a senior, a couple months left here, but your senior season's already started. Obviously, you're hitting the weight room hard. Obviously, bigger and stronger, faster. That's the name of the game in football. Especially for East. I mean, a lot of games last year. You guys were in the games, but it was a fourth quarter thing. And this year it looks like your weight room's full. We
are. We're making great progress as a team. We're putting up better numbers than we've ever put up before, and we're really looking forward to this season because we have a lot of potential and guys that really, really want to work hard to make sure the season goes right the way it's supposed to.
You got on defensive line last year and had some success. What are you hoping to get done? What was your struggles with last year? Was it a size thing? As a junior versus seniors?
No, as far as the size thing, I was 215 last year. I wasn't that much smaller than many seniors. A lot of it was technique. I've been working on my technique a lot throughout the offseason. I'm working on my second move so I could, get to the quarterback faster. Help with the run game a little bit better. But I've been getting faster. I've been getting stronger. So I'm looking to put up top numbers in the conference this year.
Well, coach is going to rely on you, obviously, a defensive line. This is a running football conference, especially with guys like Ryan West out of the picture now and graduated. Oswego's probably going to go back to that power I.
Right.
And you're running against Romeyville, who's another running football team. A lot of running football teams, and all the Plainfield schools like to run.
Yeah.
So, lots could be on your shoulders as a senior. You got a lot of underclassmen in there.
We do.
What are you telling them, the kids that are going to be coming up and be in your shoes on the team this year?
Sometimes, not on a day like this where we're putting up big weight, but on other days I'll go work with them, help push them, show them that if you keep working hard, you'll be at the same place where I am now, putting up, top numbers throughout the school. And they're not scared to play. They'll come up there on varsity and play with us, hang with us, and work hard. They have a lot of dedication, and a lot of them are looking to play at the next level. So they're looking to play as a freshman or sophomore. They want to play on varsity and help out. So I think that the fact that they're underclassmen doesn't matter much. They may lack a little bit of experience, but they pick up with it with talent.
All right, with Brendan Rampa and Brendan, this is going to be your senior season. This is it, you've had a pretty interesting career. Last year was your first year back you were at St. Rita.
Nazareth Academy.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were at Nazareth. Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
You're at Nazareth. You come back to Plainfield East. What was it like, going from Catholic League to public league? There's got to be differences.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. I built a family at Nazareth. All the off season, the training and stuff. We built a family there. I didn't know any of the kids going in, so it was all new for me. But these kids here, I grew up with them. I knew, basically who they are and a lot about them. And I'm just glad of building, a team bond with them too now.
Your speed, your size. You led the team in tackles last year for East. And a lot's going to be on your shoulders this year. Last year, a lot of close games. Games where, like the Plainfield Central game, just games that you just get under your skin, knowing that, hey, we could have won that game had this gone. What are you doing a little bit differently? What do you take away from last season and then the conference that you played in, and how are you going to apply that to get Plainfield East to a playoff berth?
Well, right now I'm doing speed training and off-season lifting, as you can see. I'm getting my speed up. I got to go down to high 4.3s, low 4.4s. Just getting overall bigger. I'm going for a bench, probably going to like 375, squatting about 500. The main point at this part of the season is, building our team back up. We're going to go hard. We got the strongest team this year, and we put it all together. Definitely we'll be unstoppable. A playoff team.
Academically, where are you at?
4.75 GPA out of 5.
Not bad. Straight A's. And have you taken a pre-ACT yet?
I have, and I estimated 26, 28.
Wow. So what schools are you looking at? Obviously, I know you want to play D1 football somewhere.
Yes, sir.
And they're between the MAC and the Big Ten and all the other conferences that are out there. But what school have you been kind of leaning towards? It's early yet. There's a lot of time left. But what schools have shown some interest?
Yale actually has been throwing out a lot of interest. Air Force also as well. I took an unofficial visit out to South Dakota State. They have a lot of nice facilities coming up and stuff. They're a very good coming up team. All the Illinois schools like Illinois State, Eastern Illinois, all of them. Basically.
So, it's got to be kind of exciting in a way, but also all the pressure that hey, look, I have to perform now. I mean, now the center, lights are on you, and
no plays off now.
No plays off, and it really it does come down sometimes as a linebacker. You'll be a team leader, probably more than likely a captain of the defense.
Exactly.
And at that point, you've got to take it personally anytime somebody scores.
Oh yeah, for sure. You just got to light a fire under the team's ass, and keep up the head and just keep going for the win.
And with Coach Romelli in the offseason here, at Plainfield East and hitting the weight room and all that good stuff. But before we get into the weight room and all the preparation, how difficult is it to go from the end of October to this point, just wanting to chomp at the bit and get back out there and give it another run?
Yeah, it's definitely been a drag. We've been going after it. Today was actually the first time we got outside, so it was nice to even go outside and play with our little playground out there that we like to call it. But we've come a long way in the weight room over the 2 years that I've been here, and that's where I said we needed the most work, and that's definitely where we're getting to, in order to be successful.
You've got a lot of senior leadership, especially kids that, Plainfield East the last few years have had a lot of kids, younger kids, underclassmen playing at the varsity level, just out of sheer numbers and the fact that it's a newer school.
Yeah.
But, that in and of itself is an advantage in the offseason because these kids know, talking to Brendan and Tyler and some of the guys down there lifting, they all know what happened last year. They can point out specific games and say, man, one more step. And they always say football's a game of inches.
Yeah, when we look back a lot of the times and we talk about, when guys don't show up and I say, and they say, well, I'm hurting, I'm tired. Well, I said I was hurting and tired when we lost to Oswego. I was hurting and tired when we lost to Manuka. I was hurting and tired when we lost to Central. So I don't want to hear your excuses. We're not about excuses. We're about trying to win and do it the right way.
Talk a little bit about some of the good kids that you got. I mean, you got obviously all of them are good kids. So Let me rephrase that by saying, talk about some of the kids that you got that you have high hopes for. Collegiately speaking this year, and kids that are under the radar that haven't even been looked at yet.
Yeah, I got a couple, three guys that are getting some pretty big looks at this point. With Tyler Lancaster probably being a Big Ten kid, and Brendan Romp being a Mid-American Conference kid, and Aris Arizari, who was a transfer from St. Rita a couple years ago, is getting some smaller school looks, Mid-American Conference and 1AAs. But there's a variety of guys that have stepped up and got hit the weight room hard with LaSalle Smith, and you'll see him squatting on there, and he's a big squatter, and he's probably going to be a Division II guy, and various other guys. Alex Bonner is a guy who stepped up last year playing middle linebacker, who he's learning the position, but he's division-wise, I don't know, but he wants to play college football, and he could be a pretty darn good player. And then a few other guys that just really don't know what they want to do. Ryan Peebles is a kid who's just a great kid in school, and he works hard. And you got Brian Castillo, Shaquille Perez, and that work hard and that are getting it done in the weight room. And then you got a young boy coming up, Kyle Uminski, a big 6'3", 270-pound freshman who just chomping at the bit, and he just shadows Lancaster all the time. And then a couple other kids. Colin Romp is going to be a good player for us, and we got some other guys going to step up from the sophomore team and play some big time minutes on varsity next year.
Plainfield East is getting a reputation, in the SBC and in the surrounding area. I mean, it's more and more success, more and more. It's becoming more and more of a successful school. It's a winning tradition that's being built at the school. And that obviously starts in the offseason, happened for both basketball teams, happens for baseball, obviously football. But more importantly, looking at this conference, the conference is up for grabs this year. There's no clear front runner in the SBC. How tuned in are your players to that, saying, hey, look, it is attainable. We can run the table if we really wanted to put it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think our guys know that we lost a little bit last year. I always talk about numbers in the weight room. We're way ahead of where we've ever been in terms of physicality, and we've been pretty close. Last year, we were in some games. Teams were better than us. They made more plays. But this year, I think we're going to hopefully take another step in the right direction and the ball could roll our way, I think we'll be knocking at the door and getting to somewhere we've never been before.
We had a couple of games last year. You had Oswego on the ropes until that that last drive in the fourth quarter, and then again, Plainfield Central, another Saturday game this last year, an afternoon game, which kind of throws your schedule off a little bit when you have to play a Saturday mid-season like that.
Yeah, but it's the same for them as well. So they
no excuses.
They had to wake up on Saturday morning,
right?
And we bought them breakfast. We had a nice layout here, sausage, pancakes, and we just didn't get the job done. You got to give a credit to Coach Jackson at Central and his players. They outplayed us on that day. We look back at that fourth quarter, and we had been pretty successful in the fourth quarter throughout the year. That particular game, we didn't win it. So that probably got us.
Talk a little bit about some of the players that are not going to be coming back this year. I mean, Miles Walter sticks out to me as just a kid that has had two back-to-back great varsity seasons, football and then basketball, and we find out that he's going to go to a military school, West Point, and I mean West Point's like the toughest school to get into.
Yeah, well, I mean, the kid was I think a 29 or 30 ACT kid, 4.99 on a 5.0 scale. I had him. He went out to Princeton and went out to Cornell for visits for football, and he decided to go to West Point and play basketball. And you couldn't go wrong with any of those institutions. So that kid, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss Jawan Strouder, who was a 2-year all-conference player for us, and he's still deciding where he's going to go. And then a transfer that I got in last year, Shaquille Taylor, another guy that I'm going to miss tremendously. And you talked about the question marks in our backfield, and that's the reason why right there, because of Shaq. He had so much to do with our success, or closing the gap last year, along with some other things.
Your backfield is going to be a question mark this year, and of course you got a lot of time to figure those questions out. And usually the kids will answer those questions for you anyhow, and how they prepare in preparation. But who are you looking for to compete for the starting quarterback position?
Starting quarterback position, we're looking at a couple different kids. We have a kid, Jake Katopka, who will be a senior. He's a pitcher on the baseball team. He got a lot of reps as the backup last year, and he ran the scout teams, and he played, I think, in 2 games. And he's the front runner for the position. We have a sophomore coming up, Jordan Blackman, who is just a winner. He's a competitor. And then Jake, his younger brother, is a sophomore, going to be a sophomore, and he's a big right-handed, big-armed kid that's going to be pushing both those kids. And it's going to be a starter here in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, you get to that point where every coach wants to name their starter as early as they can, but the 7-on-7s in the summer typically are going to show you a little bit. I mean, they're going to show you their arm. They're not going to show you whether or not they can escape a full blitzing linebacker, but they will show you some decision making in the secondary, that type of thing, and that's what you're looking for, is that leadership.
Yeah, we're looking for leadership. We're looking for a little bit of moxie. We want the quarterback to have a presence. And our quarterbacks. But the crazy thing about it is, last year we had to make Zamora into a quarterback his junior year, before his junior year, and he had a great season for us. And we expect Jake to have a great season as well, or Jordan or Cole, whoever steps up. But ever since I took over, we've been about competition. And every position we go into the summer with no depth chart. Obviously, there's a couple guys that stand out, and they're going to be with the first team. But we shake it up a lot, and our kids compete, and that's the only way that we're going to get better as a program, and that's how we have starting to grow.
Non-conference schedule. Who do you got this year, non-conference wise, and do you foresee any changes to that beyond the season?
We have Mattia Valley for this year, and then game 2 is Batavia. We've got Batavia off the schedule. They're going to be pretty darn good again. They were quarterfinalists last year, and Mattia Valley is going to be good. I mean, we've played them since they opened, and we're split so far 1-1. And we've re-signed with Mattia Valley for 2 more years, and then we've actually signed. We actually got rid of Batavia. They're pretty darn good. So we got West Aurora, but West Aurora has made some strides as well in the last couple of years. But
they're fast team.
We feel that that's going to be a game where it's going to go either way. Both those games going to go either way both years, and we're going to compete very well at all levels against Western Aurora.
Playoff points are so important, especially when you get into leagues that have a lot of parity.
Yep.
And in this area, especially this coming season, most writers, myself included, think that there's going to be a lot of parity, not just in this conference but in the surrounding conferences, which means playoff points will come into play because 5 wins may not be enough to get in.
Right.
And so you're really looking at that 5 wins with a lot of playoff points or the 6 wins.
Yeah, I mean, like last year, we went in, Mattia Valley went 4-5, and then Batavia went 9-0. We had some of the most playoff points in the area, and it's like, man, if we could have just went 1-1 in our non-conference, we would have been fighting for it in week 8 and week 9. Whereas we lost to South in week 8 or lost to Central. That was our game. We needed to win, and then South as well. So we're looking forward to just the competition that we're going to be playing. We're very excited about our future of the program. We got some young classes that came up. We went 4-5 as sophomores last year, and we went 7-2 as freshmen. Every year before this, we've gone 1-8 on all 3 levels. So we're looking forward to this year and beyond.
Offensively, you've made some changes over the past few seasons. Tweaking it here and there, just trying different things based on the personnel you have.
Yeah.
Do you feel that now you don't really have to call an offense because those kids have been exposed to 2 or 3 different styles, based on the personnel, and now they've got some that maybe you could draw from both?
Yeah, like when I first took over, it was so hard. I'm a spread guy, I'm multiple zone blocking scheme. It was hard to change from the double or the wing tee to the double wing, and not have the kids just going, having no clue. So the last 2 years, my staff and they've done a great job. We had to install 2 different offenses. This offense will be the one we stick with, a multiple look, no huddle type of thing. And, my staff, I can't say enough how much my staff is bought in to everything that I've done and how much excitement is surrounding Plainfield East football right now.
Talk a little bit about special teams, and maybe this doesn't have a whole lot to do with the team at this point, but special teams in general, how important is it to find that kicker? It seems like it's getting tougher and tougher to find a kicker because they're sticking in soccer. Soccer's become a lot more popular and more time-consuming. But how important is that in your mind to find a place kicker, not just that, a punter, somebody that's giving you field position during the games?
Yeah, it's been a struggle. We've actually last year we worked out with the soccer coach that a kid comes after practice, he kicks for us, he kicks in the game. He did a nice job for us. Our punter did a nice job as well. Last year we turned 6 kickoffs for touchdowns. Our edge last year was special teams. We stayed in a lot of games. We returned 3 against Manuka, 1 against Oswego. The big
some hellacious blocks we got online too.
The big time schools in our conference. We felt that I think Manuka kicked a couple onside kicks because they didn't want to kick to us any longer, and they recovered a couple as well. We've
didn't you get 3 on them?
Yeah, we got 3 on Manuka in the first half. Actually. We've spent a lot of times on special teams. We play mostly starters on special teams, which is different than a lot of high schools. But we feel that we need to get an edge on special teams to keep us in games.
Looking forward to the SBC. Can you comment at all about the fact that you got 3 teams right now that have new coaches? You were just there, and you're considered one of the old war horses in the conference, and not the rookie coach, but now you got three new coaches.
Yeah, those guys have been around those programs for a while. They've been around those kids, and they've at Oswego and Manuka, they've set a tradition. I think it's going to be, me personally, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for the guy at Oswego East because he's going to have to build a tradition all over, and they're 7 or 8 years into the school, and it's going to be tough. But I think he's going to, he has nice talent over there, and I think he'll be okay. And both with Oswego, with their facilities and the community just loves football, and they're all about football. And I think the same goes for Manuka. I think those guys will have a smoother transition than the guy coming into Oswego East from CPS school to into our conference where there's so much parity and there's a lot of good coaching going on.
The IHSA agreed with the National High School Association to enforce a new rule. Saying that, hey, if you lose a piece of equipment during a game, you have to come out for 1 play, no matter what. So, the times of losing a chin strap to stop the clock or those kinds of things are probably gone,
Yeah.
But in any event, there have been situations like that where kids have played without their helmet and gotten hurt.
Right.
how another big rule change is for the defensive secondary. You do not, you can't get called with pushing a kid out of bounds. I mean, if a kid goes up for the ball, your defensive back needs to know now he needs to knock him out of bounds when he's in the air because it's not going to be a completed pass no matter what.
Exactly, and we spent
it's a big difference, than what has always been football.
Yeah, it is, and we spent a lot of time with our kids preaching. We do a lot of the small things correctly. We preach starting behind the line, and the kids don't like it, but that's what we do. And it transfers over to the field. If the kids are disciplined with their equipment every day, we're constantly on them about buckling up. They look at us like, but we do those little things for a purpose, and that'll carry over to Friday night when, maybe we play a team where their helmets come off or something, and our guys are all prepared and ready and equipped properly.
Do you think, with the other rule about, not being able to, keep somebody in bounds, and do you think that's going to allow your defensive backs to be more aggressive, on the sidelines? I mean, is it almost going to be like kind of baiting them to throw it to the sideline and knock them out?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely looked at that rule a little bit, and we're still in the process of going through a couple things, but I think that definitely will be an advantage for defensive backs
and linebackers, who now are dropping back into the flat and
cover as much ground.
Right, they don't have to cover as much ground because the sidelines are going to be tough for quarterbacks to hit.
Yep.
And keeping the kid in bounds. What do you think at this point? What do you think? Where do you stand right now as a club? I mean, how often are you guys getting together and talking? How often does it come up in conversation now? Hey, football's really in a real sense, football is less than 90 days away.
Yeah, I mean we're 5 days a week right now with football, and our kids are buying in, and it's becoming more of a thing at Plainfield East High School. I got kids in the hallway coming up and saying, "Hey, can I come out? Can I lift? Can I do this?" Well, the product is in itself. You got kids walking around with big arms, and you got kids walking around with big shoulders. Other kids see that and they want to say, "Hey, where do you lift?" Well, I lift in the weight room after school. How do you do that? Well, we lift as a football team. Oh, okay. But it shows, and when Friday night when we finally beat North for the first time, and a lot of people were a part of that victory, and they saw basketball success this year. Kids want to be a part of what's going on at Plainfield East, which is a great thing. And we had, it's funny, but we're in some Battle of the Fans contest, and we're like the top 8 fan section in the state, and it goes to a lot of people that have put this school together, the administration, and our kids in general. We have a great group of kids here that really have bought into what Plainfield East is all about, and they want to make this place a great place.
A little bit is respect too. I mean, let's be honest. Being a new school, regardless if the teachers aren't new, because they all came from different districts or from within the same district. But the fact is it is about building respect amongst the other schools and, frankly, amongst the media, who may overlook Plainfield East and the SBC because, hey, there wasn't a state champion here or, a sectional quarterfinalist or any of that kind of stuff. But the reality is there's some great football going on here and some good football players that may get overseen if they're not, sticking together and winning ball games, like you say. So Plainfield East, this is important for you as a new coach. You can't call yourself new anymore.
Third year now.
So that's gone. But do you feel that you've made the progress that you'd like to make as a coach? I mean, you got to feel some pressure early on that, hey, I need to succeed. But is succeeding necessarily in wins and losses at the end of the year?
I oftentimes reflect on that as well. And, I look at our overall program and, wins and losses, that matters. But, what are the kids like in school? Are they doing the right thing? Are grades where they should be? Are our kids behaving in the hallway? Are they behaving in the classroom? And, and then that, in combination with that, what are they doing out there? All of that leads into being successful as a program. Now, a lot of teams win all the time, and that's our expectation. But we want to win in the classroom. We want to win in the weight room. We want to win everywhere. And we always talk about kids doing the right thing, and we preach that. And our building philosophy is kids are going to make mistakes, and we understand that. But we got to get them to to be successful eventually. And it's been a great couple of years here, and we're looking forward to more. I mean, we're on the verge in a lot of different sports, and we got to keep this thing going.
It's been a production of SouthwestSportsNest.com, home of the playmakers and game changers. Remember, do your best. Get on the nest.